Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. We're at Mark's again today. There is Mark. We are playing a Maelstrom game. We're playing, which one, Mark?
I've just told you Tactical Escalation. How can you
Tactical Escalation. My memory is appalling. We've got a nicely terrain-heavy table, just as we like it. Mark's got his nice new table mat out, which looks really awesome. And we have loads of cool bits of scenery on the board, my favourite of which is a plaster of Paris baby's head, which I don't know how it managed to escape having an objective placed next to it, but it's just awesome. And we have this giant lady in the middle of the table, and then Mark's giant phallic symbols that he likes to have on all of his tables he plays on.
Yep.
We're playing 2,000 points today. Mark is playing Dark Eldar mix, and I am playing a mix of the Imperium. I have Grey Knights, Blood Angels, and an Assassin in my army. Where are the numbers for our objectives, I remember? So down here is number 2, so let's go. Number 1 is over here. Number 2 is down there. We have these nice little tactical objectives that some kind person sent us to use. We have number 3 hidden behind here. Number 4 over there. Number 5 down behind this hill. And number 6 hidden over there. Obviously, you can tell that we've clumped them this end. Well, I have, because I am playing drop pod, so I wanted them nice and close by. And Mark has spread out his ones. He put one in each corner of the table, because he is playing Evil Mobile Eldar. Let's see what's actually in our armies.
Right then, guys. Starting off with the Dark Eldar then. This is my Warlord of the day. It is a Archon with a Webway Portal, Agonizer, and Haywire Grenade, as well as a Shadowfield for 2+ save. I rolled the best Warlord power when playing Space Marines. I have Fear. That's right, baby. I have Fear. This is Eldar. He rolled up Guide. He's got Guide, Prescience, Fortune, and Mind Wall. This is an all-type, believe it or not, on a jet bike with comes stock with Haywire Grenade, and he's also paid for Parax. That's right, Parax. Rest of the Eldar force, I have 5 Fire Dragons, no upgrades, 2 5-man Dire Avenger squads. They come stock with their Wave Serpents, Scatter Lasers, Shuriken Cannons, and Hollow Fields. Dark Eldar contingent, I have 4 identical squads of Dark Eldar Warriors. They've each got a blaster, and they've each got a Venom with dual cannons. Down at the back there, I have 2 5-man Scourges. One has Haywire Blasters, one has Heat Lances. Over in the far corner, you can see 6 Reaver Jet Bikes. They include a Upgrade Sergeant with Power Sword and 2 Cluster Caltrops. I have 3 Incubi, which you can't quite see. They are 3 Incubi, including a Cleavex. They're in a radar with a Dark Lance. And for my combat drugs, I've actually rolled something decent for a change. I got +1 weapon skill, so that's reasonably useful for
it. Makes a change from +1 to your ship.
Yeah, I might actually do something with it.
Possibly. So for my 2,000 points of Imperium of Man today, my Warlord is a Grey Knight Librarian. He is the standard level 3 Librarian. He's taken a Storm Bolter because, well, the model's got it and you might as well give him a shooting option. He sticks with his staff. He's got the book that gives him an extra Sanctic power and lets him re-roll 1s, and other Grey Knights near him re-roll 1s on psychic tests. And he's also got the armour that gives him Feel No Pain and It Will Not Die. He's with a squad of Terminators. They have a Psy Cannon, a Hammer, and 2 Halberds. There are 2 Dreadknights, because, well, you always take 2 Dreadknights. This is the Nemesis Strike formation, I remember, the ones that are allowed to deep strike turn 1 and only have to take 1 troop option. The Dreadknights, there is one that just has a heavy Psy Cannon and personal teleporter, and one that has a heavy silencer, a heavy incinerator, a force sword, and a personal teleporter. Then we move on to the Blood Angels detachment. These are actually a CAD for once. I haven't taken the formation that gives +1 initiative when you charge, because don't really need it with this particular army. They are led by a Librarian Dreadnought. Apologise for the completely unpainted nature. Well, he's got grey undercoat on, so he's not bare plastic at least. He's armed with a melter gun. Then for troop choices, we have Tactical Squad with Melter Gun, Combi Melter, Melter Bomb, and a Heavy Flamer. The other troop choice is Castle the Damned, a special dreadnought from the Deathstorm box. Then we have Fast Attack. We have a unit of Assault Marines. They've lost their jump packs and taken themselves a drop pod. They have twin melter pistols, as you can see on the guy in the front there, looking pretty badass. And they have 2 melter guns in there as well. In the other slot in Fast Attack, there is a drop pod for Castle the Damned, because he can't take one as a dedicated. Then we have a single dreadnought there with twin linked autocannons. You can see the theme of this list. Another Dreadnought there. This is a Furioso Dread. It's got a heavy flamer under its power fist, and it has a frag cannon. And then we have 3 drop pods over there, which are assigned to the Librarian Dread, the Furioso Dread, and the Assault Squad. And the Tactical Marines have stolen a drop pod from the Space Wolves. I believe that Cassor and the Librarian, their drop pods have a Deathwind launcher. For Warlord trait, Mark thought his was useless, which it was. I rolled up Demon Hunter, so I re-rolled it and got Demon Hunter, which is really helpful as it helps me hunt demons. None of those in Mark's army, so both our Warlord traits completely pointless. Psychic powers, though, I really wanted Cleansing Flame because it's awesome versus everybody. So my Librarian I did one at a time, and in the end had to go to my 4th Psychic power before I got Cleansing Flame, which is right there. But I did get Vortex of Doom for a nice bit of D-action. I got Hammerhand, not hugely useful, he's going around with Terminators already have it, but he does have Gate of Infinity. Gate of Infinity plus Cleansing Flame, pretty useful. I decided to roll on the Blood Angel powers for my Librarian Dreadnought, because I really wanted a Blood Lance, but I didn't get that. I've taken Quickening, obviously, as a Primaris. I have Wings of Sanguinius, who lets me move a unit 12 inches, but it's only an infantry unit, so he can't move himself. But then I've got Fear the Darkness, which is one I really like. Makes an enemy unit make a leadership chest at -2, so that's pretty useful. We'll have a bit of a psychic battle with Eldar on the table as well. Let's see how we get on. Okay, so we have set up. I run the roll for table edge and for going first, pretty useful. So I took this table edge, forcing Mark to go into the table edge with more objectives, because obviously I want to drop pod in. Over here, I deployed my Grey Knights, because they have Gate of Infinity, and I don't really want to risk them being off the board for too long. I deployed the Dreadnought with the Psy Cannon, because he's got a bit more range, and I deployed my Auto Rifle Dreadnought, or Autocannon Dreadnought, over here next to this objective, because he's got reasonable range for the rest of the board, and I need some backfield presence over here. And infiltrating after Mark deployed, my Callous Assassin has infiltrated to there. It can infiltrate anywhere within 1 inch of an enemy model. Mark has deployed his 3 main vehicles back here. What's in the Raider, Mark?
3 Incubi and Eldar.
So they're in the Raider, and then the 2 Wave Serpents are there with the Dire Avengers inside. Mark has bubble wrapped them with 2 5-man squads of warriors, and the 2 Venoms for the warriors are deployed over yonder. In reserve, what you got, Mark?
In reserve, I've got the Reaver Jet Bikes with an Autarch, 2 Deep Squatchian Scourges. I've got my Archon with 5 Fire Dragons, and the rest is just stuff in transports.
Yep. Okie dokie. Oh, and 2 Venoms were there. Contents. Would you like to seize the initiative, Mark?
No, Negatron Ghost Rider.
Okie dokie.
I'm just debating whether I do my Eldad redeploy.
Haha.
I'll offer it. I need to.
Quick amendment. Mark decided to use his Eldrad redeploy. He has put his Raider, 1 Wave Serpent, and a small line of bubble wrap to try and stave off drop pods over in the opposite corner to where they were. I think he was afraid of the assassin. Okay, let's go on with turn 1. Mark isn't seizing. Grey Knights, turn 1. So reserve-wise, I only had the drop pods, which obviously automatically come in, and the Dread Knight with the heavy incinerator. He stayed off the board, and I deployed 3 drop pods. I brought down the Quad Melter Assault Squad over here, landed nicely, as is my usual with a drop pod. Came out and got in the rear of the Wave Serpent, fired all its melter. It's a Wave Serpent though, so I did 1 glancing hit to it, because it's got a 3-up Jink save. So it made it Jink at least, which is something, but it'll be unfortunately over the other side of the board next turn. Came down in the middle over here, another pinpoint accurate deep strike, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah.
I put him here so he could wander out and get in melter range of the other Wave Serpent, while the drop pod could still be within range of the point there. He wandered over there, fired his melter gun. Mark chose not to Jink, but because it's in the front arc, he's got his Serpent Shield, so it just did a whole point to that one as well. It is Night Fight in his turn, so all his Jink saves are up to 3 pluses. This one came down over here. He scattered slightly. I had tried to land him on top of this objective, but he hopped to the other side there. He wandered out and Melter Gun and Storm bolted the Raider, but it made all its Jink saves. The Grey Knights have teleported in over here. They cast Cleansing Flame. They managed to, sorry, by teleporting I mean they Gate of Infinity over here. They then cast Cleansing Flame, but I had to put quite a few dice in it because I'd rolled a 6 on Psychic dice this turn. That meant Mark had 10 dice to dispel. I really wanted the Cleansing Flame off. So unfortunately I perils, lost a wound on my Librarian, and also lost a power, which randomly turned out to be Gate of Infinity, which wasn't so good, so they no longer have the mobility. But the Cleansing Flame went off. It blew up the Venom over there for First Blood, took off 3 of this squad over here, and also dealt So damage to that venom, but it made its jink saves. Not its jink saves, its invulnerable saves. We then proceeded to cast Fear the Darkness on this squad as well, where they made their leadership check. This squad were really good this turn. They then made another leadership check for not running off the board for losing casualties. The Assassin had wandered over to this squad, flamed 3 of them off the board. The Stormbolter took out another one, and the lone remaining member has made his leadership check as well. Back over in this corner, the Grey Knights opened fire. They poured their side cannon, all their Stormbolters into this raider, but again it jinked all of its way past their shots. And this Dreadnought over here opened fire on the remaining Venom, which was around there. It decided not to jink because Venoms are pretty useless once they jink, and the side cannon tore it in half, which you would expect. That was my turn 1. The objective I got was control objective 2, so instead of wandering into a firing position, this Dreadnought stayed put and to control objective 2, so he scored me 1 point, and with First Blood I'm on 2 massive points. Over to Mark.
So, start my first turn. I had a real bit of a dilemma, really. Essentially, all these vehicles, you've got 2 Dreadnoughts, you've got a Dread Knight owning a lot of the board, you've got these guys, they can all assault any vehicle and kill it, and they can assault any unit in the game and kill it. So I have to, combination of these 2 guys basically have to run away and turbo boost, because if I stay in that corner, I'm just a dead man.
Yeah, you couldn't quite get up, because I thought you were going to get past this line, as it were, but you couldn't quite get it range-wise due to where my units were deployed.
Yeah.
So you had to go backwards.
So, yeah, I'm doing the old classic runaway. I did attempt to shoot with this guy into the back of him. I did manage to do 1 penetrating hit, but unfortunately due to 95 stealth knight, fine 6 up for the win. So, yeah, I got out my 5 dive ranges down here, shot into Marines, hoping to do a little bit more, but just killed the 1 melter gunner. That's not great. This guy just rapid fire into there. So, yeah, I'm just kind of pinning my hopes on reserves at the moment, and just hoping to mitigate as much damage as I possibly can and rely on mobility. I drew secure objective 4. That is right next to a bunch of Terminators, so I'm going to wait for a turn. So that is all I've done, really, is run away and kill 1 Marine.
Imperium turn 2. This turn I got in my drop-podded combat squadded Space Marines, and I got the Fragioso Dreadnought. I also, objective-wise, I got to reveal every objective on the board, which we had done, because I started over near this one. So that was basically a free point, because they just need to be revealed and you score it, so that was handy. I also got secure objective 1. So I had a choice. I could have put a drop pod down here to score that victory point and then guard it against Mark in future turns, but I decided, no, throw everything into the meat grinder and see what happened. So Fragioso Dreadnought drop podded in here, so he could get out there and stick his template across these 2 vehicles. Because it rends, it can hurt a wave serpent, but I mainly wanted it so it could hit the contents of the raider with all its flame templates with a nice open-topped rule. The other combat swatted Space Marines, they were trying to come down initially there first so they could do a similar trick, and so the melter guns were closer, but they scattered back here. So the melter squad got out so it could put 2 melter guns on this wave serpent, and the flame squad got out over there so they could flame the 2 Dark Eldar who Mark had cunningly positioned. You didn't see it at the end of Mark's turn, but Mark had moved his 2 remaining warriors, spaced out beautifully there to stop my Dreadnought assaulting through. Those proved a right pain.
They've done well.
So I decided, because I wanted to assault with my Dreadnought, my Librarian here, he either wanted to assault the Raider or assault the contents if I destroyed the Raider, so I had to kill these 2 Dark Eldar. So I first of all fired the Stormbolter from Castle the Damned. I then fired a big blast template from there, a Stormbolter from up there. I fired this half Space Marine squad here. They had a heavy flamer at the front, which I thought was going to get them, but I unfortunately moved my Dreadnought too close, and with the drop pod there, I couldn't get a template down on top of them without hitting my own model, so that was a bit of a pain. But I fired all of those. I didn't kill a single Dark Eldar warrior. So then I opened fire with the whole Grey Knight squad. They managed to finally kill 1 Dark Eldar warrior because Mark failed a feel no pain save. It was touch and go. If that had failed, that would have turned the turn decidedly for the worst. Those 2 the remaining Dark Eldar failed his leadership test and ran off the board. My Dread Knight over there, and combined fire with the rending shots from that Dreadnought there and the 2 melter guns from there. They fired into these 2. The melter guns caused the wave serpent to jink and it lost the whole point. And the combined fire from the other 3, I think it was mainly the Dread Knight, managed to pop the Raider, and Eldrad and his squad got out this side. The Dreadnought made his charge through cover because in the psychic phase he had casted the quickening on himself, giving him fleet. So he got to re-roll his 9-inch charge and got into combat. He killed the remaining incubi and put 3 instant death wounds on Eldrad, but he made all his invulnerable saves, so they're now locked in combat. Otherwise, over here, the Assassin and the Space Marines moved down to assault the Wave Serpent. The Melter Guns did very little to the back of the Wave Serpent. They caused it to jink. But the Deathwind missile launcher from this one fired over and managed to hit 3 of the Dire Avengers, wounding them. So then I charged in and managed to destroy the Wave Serpent. Anything else happened that turn, Mark? Psychic phase wasn't hugely important. I cast a few powers, didn't I? I cast Force on the Grey Knights.
Him, which is really massive. You got the fleet.
Oh yeah, I got the fleet there, and I attempted to relocate the Grey Knights because they're a bit out on their own now, using the move power. I can't remember what it's called, Wings of San Genius. But Mark countered that. But I did get Force off on those guys. Not hugely important, but you never know. But that was a really good turn for me because the 2 close combats went really well. I've killed a Wave Serpent, which was really tricky for my army to do. But obviously most of Mark's army hasn't even arrived on the board yet, so I suspect some of my stuff will get blown to smithereens when some Scourges arrive. Let's see what he does.
Right then, this is the end of my turn 2. Reserves rolls were pretty good with your type. The only thing that failed to come in was my Scourges with Fleet Lances. Probably, that was reasonable, but I could have, if I'm honest, done with them. However, onto my turn. The left-hand side I'm reasonably happy with. My 5 Scourges came down here, fired into Dreadnought. I've taken off 2 hull points, which is annoying, and he's still rocking. But hey ho. I did some firepower down here. The poison guys did really well. They killed about 3 Terminators between them, which was really good. These guys got guided by Eldar, so I was quite optimistic that I could finish that squad off. I didn't because I rolled 3 1s to wound on my Melter Guns. Yeah. So that was really bad. And that was, as we kind of get more to right, it kind of gets worse and worse really. These 5 guys only managed to kill 2 Marines. Eldar did survive in close combat. He managed to make his 1 3-up save he had to take. These guys failed to do any significant damage to the Marines down here, which ended up running. I was able to get a charge in with my Dire Avengers just to kind of prevent that. This Wave Serpent fired into Yasa this Dreadnought. I managed to get a few hits through, but I only managed to roll 1 glancing hit, so he's still fully operational. So unfortunately, I took a big gamble and tried to do enough damage to kind of get me out of dodge, but I don't think I have done. So I think this is going to be a short and bloody turn for Mr. Hall.
Hopefully so.
I did, however, manage to secure Objective 4 with an OPSEC unit down there. So it's currently 1 point to 2. To 3.
Oh, yeah. Imperial turn 3. So this turn, last of my reserves, the Dread Knight came in. I tried to do a bit of a risky deep strike over there because I wanted to deal with a load of Mark stuff. He mishapped and Mark put him in the very corner. So then we proceeded with the rest of the turn. What we had this turn objective-wise are down here. We had Obscure Objective 1, which is over there, which we're not going to do. Hunger for Glory, issue 1 or 3 challenges and gain 1 or D3 victory points. And Secure Objective 6. So Objective 6 is that one down there right next to Castle the Damned. He needed to clear out the squad that were in a Venom next to him. So to encourage him to do this, the Librarian broke off with his Terminator and joined the combat squad of Space Marines. He then cast Cleansing Flame again, but rolled pretty poorly. He killed 3 of the Scourges, which was nice, but failed to hurt the Venom and the Fire Dragons. The Fire Dragons made so many saves this turn. I fired the Librarian and that combat squad at them with their bolt pistols and such. I blocked my own flamer, which was stupid. I managed to kill 1 of them. I fired him into that Venom and fired my Autocannon Dreadnought into the Venom, didn't do anything to it. I then charged with him, failed to hurt it again, so not a good turn for him. Castle the Damned fired at the Venom but didn't kill it, so this Dread Knight there killed it, and he then managed to just charge the contents, and he murdered through those and has stepped backwards to secure that objective, so he scored me a victory point this turn. Over here, both my Assassin and my Fragioso Dreadnought used their flame templates on the bikes and then charged in. I issued a challenge with my Assassin and killed the Sabarite, and the Dreadnought killed another couple, but Mark passed every leadership he has needed to make this game, which has been pretty good going, but he's not been very good at shooting, so it kind of swings and roundabouts. I beat him in combat. He didn't fail his leadership, so he has hit and run away and got 18 inches away up there. That's where all his 6s went. But then I've turned round down here. I managed to kill a couple of the Dire Avengers with a template from that drop pod. This Wave Serpent is living a charmed life. I melted it, it jinked, I charged in there, failed to hurt it with my charging in attacks. Over here, these 3 managed to kill the lone remaining Dire Avenger they were in combat with. The Librarian Dreadnought finally got rid of that pesky Eldar Eldrad by smacking him in the face with a Power Fist. And I think that's about it. So a pretty good turn, not super good. It could have been better. If I'd have done really well that turn, we'd have probably called the game, I suspect. But I didn't do super well. I did score objective 6, and then Mark has gone upstairs to sort out his son's nappy. So I better roll on camera and he'll see I got 3 victory points from my issue 3 challenges, because the assassin issued a challenge, the librarian dreadnought challenged Eldar because it hadn't been done so far, and my Grey Knight librarian challenged his whatever it's called, Archon there. So I've got 3 victory points on that, 1 for killing Eldrad and 1 for controlling objective 6, which Cassor is doing. So that's 5 extra VPs for me. So I'm up to 8, which is quite a commanding lead. Let's see if Mark can do anything about it.
End of my turn 3. This guy's able to kill Caster down, which is pretty good.
Damn you!
Good job, you. Turn too late, but hey, I'll take it. These guys, combat was pretty ineffectual. We just killed 1 Space Marine team, no losses on my side, past leadership. The Heat Lance Scourges came in. They was able to blow up the Libby Dreadnought, killing 1 Die Avenger. Die Avenger sat on objective to score me a point. These 3 guys attempted to move across to get a charge in, but I failed my charge. And Wave Serpent has just ran away because I need some sort of mobility. And that is all that happened. I scored 1 additional point, so I'm currently on now 2 points.
Turn 4 for the Imperials. So, what happened this turn? First of all, I'll go through my cards. My cards drawn this turn were pretty amazing. I got Ascendancy. If I control 3 objective markers, I gain D3. I gain the best one here, behind enemy lines. If I have units next to Mark's table edge, I gain 1 or D3 if there are 3. I've obviously got all my drop pods there. I had Mark choose as tactical objective. He chose this one over here. If I get to control it this turn, I get D3. In future turns, if I get to control it then, I gain 1. I did my Dread Knight's jump, the one that had gone back here. He jumped over there and controlled it. And I have Psychic Communion, cast 3 powers from Grey Knight units, gives me D3. So all 3 of those cards amazing. So this turn, he jumped over here, scored me those victory points, and then shot his flamer at the Wave Serpent. Needed a 6 to glance and kill it, got a 6, glanced and killed it. That was start of the luck. Over here, I needed this objective to be able to get to the control 3 of them. So my assassin managed to flame a Die Avenger and kill the other one in close combat, gaining me that one. The Fragioso there moved over and triple flame templated all the Scourges, killing all of them. This Grey Knight here stayed put to control his objective down there. Oops, sorry, dropping the camera. And he fired over at the remaining Scourge over there, killed him with his Stormbolter. This Dread Knight here needed to ensure that the 3 jet bikes here couldn't contest. So he moved over there, shot them, killed one of them, I think, and then squished the Autarch in combat. The remaining jet bike has ran away over to there. Well, hit and run over to there, didn't run away. Fire from my Dreadnought on the hill over there took out the last remaining Venom. The guys inside weren't pinned though. Combat over there was a total slapfest. I'd cast Hammer Hand, but it's not really needed because I can't hit is the main issue. So that was that done. And then I rolled my dice. I gained 9 victory points from scoring 4d3 this turn. So I have a nice healthy lead. Let's see if Mark can do anything about it.